Okay, I'm going to be doing a review on Lions brand landscapes, and the price of it is going to be around $4 or $5. It's easy to find, and you get okay yardage. You get 147 yards. That's good enough to make a hat, and if you get a second skein, it's good enough to make a pair of fingerless gloves. So the 147 yards is a decent amount for a smaller project for scarf or hat or gloves. It's a size 4 yarn, so it's a worsted yarn, and it works good on, I'm finding some of the fine gauges that are a little wider, and if you're loom knitting, so it's good on the wider fine gauges. If you're doing a flat knit, it will probably work on the wider gauges with the fatter pegs if you're loom knitting. But that's if you do a flat knit with it. If you're not, I wouldn't suggest doing an E-rep with this. As for the feel of it, it's not too bad. It's not rough like the Super Saver Red Heart yarn, but it's not like super soft or anything. It's somewhere in between. At least it's not, I guess, uncomfortable feeling and texture and feel. It has a beautiful gradients. I will tell you right now that this beautiful blue-green area you see isn't your main colors that are going to show up much. As you can see through a whole glove, it shows up in a single section. And if you make a hat, it'll show up twice, but it's not a very big section. It may fill up a section that's only about this big if you do it. Your main colors are going to be purple and the fuchsia color here, and the gold, but the blue and green is not your main colors that are going to show up. So I'll warn you there. If you're wanting that as your main colors, it's not your main colors, but it does have a really nice, beautiful gradients to it when it comes to its color gradients. Its strength is okay. It's not great. Of course, it's not 3-stranded. It's very lightly woven, and if you're having to sew things up, it'll eventually fray and break apart. So if you're going to have to do a lot of sewing up a garment with it, it's not going to do very well. I would find an alternative yarn or thread to sew something up with it. It doesn't have much spring either, so I don't know that would be really good for cabling either. Overall, I think it's a really beautiful yarn. It's a really nice yarn, aside from it being a little weaker, but because of the beautiful color ranges, you wouldn't want to do too fancy of cabling or stitch work. It would take away from the actual stitch work with how vibrant the colors are. So the colors are vibrant, and I think it wasn't too bad to work with on the loom or anything. So overall, I would say this is a really nice yarn, and they have a lot of other really nice color options to choose from. With the landscapes, and they all have a really nice gradients to it. So I liked it enough that I've bought 3 skeins of it, and I've already used 1 skein to make a set of gloves, fingerless gloves, and a full-on hat. So yeah, that's the Lions brand landscape yarn.